This right here is a 1943 penny. It's actually made out of steel. In fact, if you find a penny from 1943 that's made out of copper, it's worth $80,000. I want to check your grandpa's penny jar for that one. Here's a magnet. You can see that this penny sticks on here where this penny doesn't. The reason for this was in 1943 there was the World War going on, and copper was used in all of our ammunition and weapons. There may be a day again where copper will become scarce if you think that war will be in our future. Copper's also used in every kind of electronics that you can think of. As you're driving down the highway, you'll see power lines. Power lines are primarily composed of copper. Copper's a really neat metal, super useful, and it can't be created without digging it out of the ground. Most people, when they think of pennies, they think of copper pennies. But in fact, most pennies that you have in your pocket aren't made at all out of copper. They're made out of zinc. In 1982, it became inefficient for the government to mint pennies out of copper. So they started minting them out of zinc. This is a 2009 zinc penny. Before 1982, pennies are worth 2.26 cents each if it is melted. That means if you can collect 100 of these pennies worth $1 at the bank, if you were to melt them, they're worth $2.26. Now, here's the secret to investing. You want to invest in something that has no risk and yet has the potential to immediately double your wealth. If you'd like to do that, you need to invest in pennies. I know it seems crazy, but really, this is astounding that a penny is now worth 2.26 cents. In fact, I challenge you to go onto eBay and notice that 2009 and 2010 pennies are going from anywhere between 50 cents to $1 to even $2 per coin. And that's because they've minted so few. The government came out last year and they said in 2008, they lost $40 million by just minting zinc pennies. Because zinc pennies are now worth 1.2 cents. The material is worth more than the penny's face value. This creates a really problem. It costs more to buy the material than to mint the penny. This is primarily because the government has printed so much cash in the last year. Remember this, cash is always trash, but metal is what is real money. As the government prints more cash, these penny values, these metal values will go up in value. Let me just show you here how this works. I have a machine here. It's a machine that divides the copper from the zinc. Every penny, depending on what metal it's made out of, is going to permit a current to go through it at a certain speed. This machine determines what that speed is and then divides the pennies based on that. Any penny before 1982, when I run this machine here, if it's before 1982, it's going to end up in this bin right here. If it's after 1982, it's going to end up in this bin right here. These pennies I'm just going to take back to the bank. However, these pennies I'm going to store up and hold on to. Just like a quarter that's made out of silver is now worth $4 if it's from 1964 and made out of silver, so will these pennies one day, these copper ones, be worth 8 cents and then 10 cents and then 20 cents and way beyond that based on the amount of cash that is created and the amount of scarcity of copper in the world. If you were to get a machine like this, you could actually have a no-risk copper investment. I'm sharing this with you because I want to help you. I want to help people get out of this market. I have a feeling that in the next year, the government is going to pull these copper pennies out and melt them in mass. So it's really important that you start sorting them out yourself and getting them in your own pocket. This will help protect you and your family from the coming inflation.